every plant is its own fertilizer. A family of 4 produces over 2 tons of fertilizer per year, but why do we throw it away? Hello, Samson here. Nature already has the answers that we need. Our job is not to replace nature with expensive products, but to work with her laws. Therefore, Albert Einstein says, if you cannot explain it simply, you do not understand it well enough. Today's segment of book reviews focuses on JADAM's Organic Agriculture. So this is a way to ultra low-cost agriculture by Youngsang Cho. The book is divided into 6 parts, and all of them actually gluing when you sit down to read and just look at the explanations that Youngsang is bringing out. Therefore, part 1, the focus is that the problem with modern organic farming, where today's organic farming has evolved into a strange system where you have to buy expensive things from afar instead of valuing the things which are near and cheap. So his argument here is based on the fact that farming has been hijacked by corporations, and these huge corporations are making money from just brainwashing farmers. And yes, brainwashing is maybe a word that I could use. The key point is that if organic farming is expensive and complicated, then it can never replace the conventional way of doing agriculture and farming as it is being done right now. So JADAM's goal is to bring back to farmers, not to the input corporations and companies which are producing those things. And it was a deliberate move where it was done that organic agriculture should be replaced with these conventional modern ways of farming so that we could grow food as fast as it is needed. And it's stemming from the world wars which actually happened. So some sort of history, some brief history comes out actually from there. His 4 aims from this section actually focus on the fact that whatever you're doing in agriculture is supposed to be simple, it's supposed to be easy, it's supposed to be scientific, and it's supposed to be effective. So it's called a SESE formula. If you're doing agriculture and it is not in any way related to the SESE 4 M's, then you're totally wasting a lot of inputs on it. In part 2 of the book, he's bringing out the philosophy where nature becomes our teacher. So what do we learn from nature is that there is no crop rotation, although we've been taught that our fields always constantly have to have crop rotation. Nature does not do that. Whenever something is growing in nature, in the world, we see that there is no crop rotation. Nature does not compile up huge piles of compost in order to make the compost that we need. And then nature doesn't have good and bad microbes. They just work as they are. So nature uses its own diversity and not sterilization. So he introduces 3 principles in this part where he's dealing with the fact that you do as nature does. So you fertilize when it is time to fertilize, working with the seasons. And then I and others are one. So if the soil is healthy that we are planting in, and then if our crops are healthy, then we have healthy human beings and healthy animals at the end of the day. Then good and bad are supposed to be one. The principle of dualism, if you examine carefully the so-called environmentally friendly farming, is that it's very strange, because why is everybody forgetting about the great civilizations and the farmers who used organic methods to grow their civilizations back then in the millennia? Part 3, we're dealing in soil management. So Cho is brutally honest in that most farm soil today is compacted, is salty, and is chemically contaminated. And the solution that he proposes is very simple. Like, soil has to be grown and developed organically. Make your own soil like a leaf mold from the mountain. So when you get a leaf mold from the mountain, you're able to see that it's rich in organic matter, it's rich in the nutrition that plants actually need for them to grow. So there is need to use indigenous microorganisms from nearby forests and from nearby places in order to produce what is needed for the soil, and then there is also need for the use of cover crops. We've been dealing in these ones, I think, for some time now, and then there is need to stop actually removing crop residue. So something that intrigued me here is that the fact that every plant is its own fertilizer. So once you plant, for example, maize, and then you harvest what you need from it, and that thing dies, it's supposed to fertilize the soil in order to grow more maize from there. Hence, crop residue is not for diseases, it is actually a source of nutrients. Moving into part 4 and part 5 of the book, the focus is on you making your own agricultural organic inputs. So conventional organic farming, what we've been taught actually is you need to be able to buy molasses, some black sugar, commercial microbes, and some expensive liquid fertilizers in order for you to just balance it up, increase yields and all that. However, he says that we need to stop, and then we need to use water and a leaf mold instead. So the principle of anaerobic fermentation, so no air is supposed to be pumped into the system of making our own input. This preserves nutrients, and could be the organic fertilizer that we're making. Then there is need for an ambient temperature and no need for sugar. So what the no need for sugar is doing is that it's reducing the acidity of whatever we are producing, and then just at the right temperature, microbes are given a very good condition for them to be able to grow in order to make, could be the organic fertilizer or the organic pesticides that we're actually making. Then yeah, he demonstrates a number of things and gives formulas on how to make some of these things, inclusive of organic fertilizer, inclusive of organic pesticides, and the like. So something intriguing that I got to learn from here is that a family of 4 people actually produces over 2 tons of fertilizer per year, but why do we throw it away? Think about that deeply. In part 6, the section actually intrigued me so much, where he says that pests are not the enemy, they are nature's way of recycling. But we harvest everything, and then we must protect our crops, of course. So he has developed an ultra low-cost system of making pesticides that farmers can use at home. When you dive into the book deeply, you're going to find formulas to use and all that. So chemical pesticides right now are costing over $100. If you're a farmer and you want to just do up your seasonal thing, you realize that it's costing more than that. But the JADAM way is actually costing about $1 or less. And then the best part is you don't need different pesticides for every pest. So once you work and fix on the soil, then you've already worked and fixed whatever you need in order to grow your food. In conclusion, what I love about the book and his writing style is that all of these ideas that he brings out, he never decided to patent them, because he says he chose to share so that especially those who are poor and excluded may actually benefit. So this book is not just a manual, instead it's a manifesto for farmers' independence. And if you're an organic grower, you need to read it, focus on what you can do in order to cut down on the costs, because yes, these huge corporations are making money off all of us. Once your eyes are open, then definitely your costs are going to be cut down. So yeah, this is JADAM Organic Farming, Youngsang Cho. To meet in the next segment, I am checking out.